Now, BHP Billiton has promised to spend more than $1 billion on preparations for its Olympic Dam mine expansion in South Australia.
The company and the state government signed an agreement yesterday. Kevin Foley is the minister assisting the Premier on the Olympic Dam expansion project, and he joins us now from Adelaide. Kevin Foley, good morning.
Good morning.
What does this deal mean for South Australia?
Well, look, I think what it means, not only for South Australia but for our nation entirely, is that we have in excess in this deposit 30 to 35% of the world's known uranium. It will be, I think, the fourth largest copper mine in the world, the fourth largest gold mine in the world, the largest in Australia, and throw in a bit of nickel and a few other bits and pieces. This is an extraordinary multi-mineral resource, and no other company globally other than BHP would have had the balance sheet to make this project work. And I want to pay particular compliment to Marius Kloppers and to the board of BHP and to Dean Delavalli, who is the president of the uranium division, that these are people who have matched vision with, dare I say, some courage to commit to a project that will take nearly 2 decades before BHP start to recover their capital outlays and start to make a return to shareholders.
This is a commitment for the first stage of the project. BHP Billiton has 12 months to decide whether to go the full hog. How confident are you that the mining giant will commit fully to the project?
Well, absolutely. The first stage, and they're doing this project in stages, the sheer volume of capital required, they have to dig. Viewers will be, I think, interested to know that this mine will take between 5 and 6 years to dig. It'll be the largest open-cut mine the world has ever seen, way in excess of what currently exists at the huge Escondida mine in the Andes in Chile. But this is a mine that will take nearly 6 years to dig, 350 metres deep, 1 million tonnes of rock removed a day. And once that project is well underway in stage 1, they will then clearly look at stage 2, which is the actual mining, processing, distribution, transportation, the various other functions. So highly unlikely they're going to build a massive dig a great big hole in the middle of the desert and not go ahead with stage 2.
Now, of course, you need to have this deal ratified by the South Australian Parliament. The opposition and some of the crossbenchers aren't that convinced yet. How confident are you that you'd be able to persuade them and get this ticked off by the South Australian Parliament?
Well, look, I'm confident, but I respect all opposition parties, that they do have the right to scrutinise this work that we have done now, which has been the culmination of 6 years' work. Now, I've in fact taken the unusual step, but I think an appropriate step, to actually invite the Leader of the Opposition and 3 or 4 of her senior cabinet or shadow cabinet colleagues into my office about 10 days ago to start briefing them on exactly what is in the indenture. I respect the confidentiality and the way in which the Leader of the Opposition, Isabel Redmond, and she should be given credit for that. It's been a very constructive approach to it, but equally they have every right to deal with the Parliament as they so choose. But for the nation and for my state, this is tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars. It is tens of thousands of jobs, but it centres Australia, and particularly South Australia, as the producer of one of the future resources that will ensure that we have an acceptable level of environmental standards in terms of dealing in a carbon-constrained world environment, that we will have access to 35 to 40% of the world's known uranium deposit. I did flippantly say, but perhaps it's not that flippant, that Olympic Dam will be to South Australia what the oil fields of Arabia are to the Saudi Arabian government.
And just on that, before you go, Kevin Foley, those reserves of uranium, as you know, Labor Party policy nationally prevents uranium being sold to countries who haven't signed up to various nuclear proliferation treaties, India being one of them. The Age in Melbourne is this morning reporting the federal government is holding talks with India with a view to selling uranium to that country if and when that ban is overturned. As somebody who is confident of those reserves and the benefit to not just South Australia and the nation at large, would you like to see National Labor Party policy on uranium overturned and uranium sales be given the green light to India?
Well, look, I think previously the Labor Party policy of 3 mines or whatever mines happened to be operating whenever Labor federally got into office was a nonsense, and that was recognised nationally. As for our foreign relations and foreign protocols, after a long career in state politics, I've learnt to know where my role is. That's state politics. I'll leave it to Prime Minister Gillard and to Foreign Minister Kevin Rudd and Martin Ferguson and others to work that through. But again, I think BHP's business case, I'm sure, for this project was based on known Australian policy. They see this as an opportunity to access the vast demands that will come out of China. But very rarely in Australia we get a lot of news about mining projects, gas and coal and LNG, but this particular mine is really unique. That is, that it is multi-mineral. It is the greatest uranium resource, but one of the greatest multi-mineral resources in the world. I just want to conclude by saying that a great bonus for my state, for our nation, and it's taken a great Australian company, I still call them an Australian company, to have both the financial wherewithal, but the vision of a Chief Executive Officer in Marius Kloppers and his board to take a leap of faith where they will construct a mine that will deliver benefits globally for probably 100 years or more.
OK, Kevin Foley in Adelaide, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.